What's up, guys? Welcome back to another TV series companion podcast. I'm going to be doing commentary today on The Wire, Season 1, Episode 8. It's been a minute since I did the commentary on the last one, and I'm going to be honest, I don't remember exactly what happened in the last episode. But that's not going to be a hindrance. I'm sure it'll come back to me rather quickly. As I've said before, I'm very familiar with the series. I've seen it front to back many times. I think that we had something to do with Avon's crew making changes, tearing out the payphones. I think they gave out cell phones, if I'm not mistaken, to select few people in the crew. And that is going to be another roadblock as far as the investigation is concerned. If you've never listened before, I start by making myself a cup of coffee, which you can probably hear my Keurig warming up in the background. Once that's done, I'm going to sit down on the couch and smoke a bowl, and then I'll give you a countdown when I'm starting the episode. So if you want to watch along with me at home, I'll cue you up. 3, 2, 1, play, and then we'll start watching it, and then I'll just kind of explain my thoughts during that process. What I see on the screen, what pops into my head, will come out of my mouth. A little bit of verbal diarrhea for your ass on this lovely night. Shit's been crazy. Had family visiting from out of town for a whole week. That jacked up my whole schedule. This is a level of inactivity for an extended period of time that I'm just not used to. Had to get taxes done and that's a stressful situation and time. Regular work rolled up into that. Easter was today. It's a lot of Jimmy Jams in one session. But we're here now. Can you dig it? And the Blazers are up 3-1 in the series against Oklahoma City. Logo Lillard running wild on their ass. I guess I've got to do what I've got to do. Alrighty. I'm going to do my wife a solid and refill the Keurig real quick before I sit down. Just seems like the right thing to do. I hate it when I come out here to make coffee right after I wake up and the damn thing is empty. Because it won't run through its preheating cycle until it has a sufficient amount of water in it. So if you don't put water in it, you're delaying that cup of coffee hitting your lips even further. Ooh, hits the tongue and goes, ah. Okay, my friend, we sit on the couch now, we smoke the mota, then we start the show maybe? Okay, I believe you. It's not about the shit-stained balls, the dirty Sanchez, rusty trombone. Alrighty then, I'm gonna go ahead and double down. Full disclosure, right before this, I recorded the commentary for Seed of Chucky. And my mind is still kind of reeling at just how horrible of an experience that was. I guess it went all right. I just was finding myself a bit dumbfounded and at a loss for things to say. Because there's just not a lot interesting going on there. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into a review on the Seed of Chucky. And there you have it. Kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. Alright, if you're going to watch along with me, go ahead and get your shit queued up and get prepared for me to signal you that I am starting. So this is episode 8 from season 1, titled Lessons. Let me read the summary here. Tip top of the wire, very hard, so that makes it most suspicious. Okay, yeah, so I'm pretty sure I was accurate with my memory as to what happened in the last episode. So I am now ready to start. I'm going to push play in 3, 2, 1. Actually, check that. Roll that back. There's going to be an advertisement at the beginning I'm going to have to contend with, so I'll let you know when I'm starting the actual episode. Actually, it's at the end from the last time I watched it. So, I'm just going to rewind it to the beginning. Hey, chicken. How's it hanging? It's really nice. Say hi to your mother for me. Okay, now I am pressing play in 3, 2, 1, play. It's not HBO, it's just regular ass TV. Number 18. Okay, so this scene, I remember this. This opens up a little bit slow. Jimmy's wearing that old Navy track jacket that I had when I was a freshman in high school again, except for a different colorway. This is Jimmy and his boys at like some kind of like a flea market or I don't know what you would call this. It's like a food court. But they just spotted Stringer. And Jimmy's going to use his kids to scope Stringer out and follow him. Because they're inconspicuous. Stringer's never going to see it coming. And he's taught them this game called front and follow, which is a technique for following somebody. So you don't lose track of them. Somebody stays in the front, somebody stays behind. I don't even know if Jimmy knows what he's looking for. He's just looking for something. He's just going to see what happens. I mean, you could get upset and say he's putting his kids in a risky situation, but not really. Stringer's not looking to do any dirt while he's out there, and he doesn't know who the fuck these kids are. He's just doing some shopping. They're no more in danger than anybody else that's in that food court or market, whatever the hell it is. Vintage Chevy Cavalier. My mom had 2 different Chevy Cavaliers when I was a kid. One of them was red and looked just like that. And then the other one was white and looked like that, but was also a convertible. Uh-oh. He realized he forgot something, and they have to go back in and continue to follow him. That's where it gets a little fishy and suspicious. Like, I think I would notice these kids came with me outside, and then as soon as I came back inside, they followed me back. And now Jimmy's lost them. Because they went back in to follow Stringer. They're not where he expected them to be. Stringer forgot where he parked his car. That's what it was. And now they can't find their dad because nobody's where they're supposed to be. We're never where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. We're up on those phones last night. Kid's got potential, though. He scoped the plate, wrote it down. Yeah, they're both brown hair, one that big, the other about that big. They're wearing, I don't know what the fuck they're wearing. Is that a thing still? Like, do people consciously, like, coordinate outfits or pay attention to what people they're with are wearing. That was a thing in the 90s. My grandparents, whenever they used to snowmobile, and they would always get matching snow gear. So if one of them ever got lost when they were looking, they would just say, have you seen anybody else wearing this outfit? Which I guess is kind of smart, except for they could have seen you, and so they could just be telling you that yeah, I saw somebody like that down over here, and that could have just been you. So it's helpful, but also you could get some misinformation out of it. So they want us to believe when the intro song hits that Jimmy has lost his kids. But, he's gonna track those little fuckers down, no sweat. His wife is probably gonna freak the fuck out about it. In fact, I think she does. It's not like he asked him to go up and talk. They were just walking. They just happened to be in the same place as this guy at the same time. Nothing more, nothing less. They may have observed some things. What did you want them to have their eyes shut? Supposed to pretend we're blind out this bitch? Oh, crash and burn. When your recording apparatus falls. First word, dad. Come at the king, best not miss. Word life. Oh. Recording apparatus falling again. First world problems.
We still got the towel. And we're up on Stringer Bell's pager now, too.
Yeah, but this is showing us just how cautious these guys are. We make any kind
Right now they're discussing the impact of losing the phones in the pit.
And what are they doing? They won't hold the paper.
We might see more traffic on the tower payphones.
Sergeant says tomorrow, right? 1 in the afternoon.
So they've realized that they kind of have to tail these guys now so that they can figure out which phones they're using so that they can try to get surveillance up on those. They lost a bit of ground. They're pushing a boulder up a hill, and while they were sleeping, it slid.
Excuse me, is that a direct order? I'm just saying, if you want to follow these assholes from phone to phone, why don't you do it yourself? I'm in office, remember?
He's trying to give them orders. And they're giving him shit because he's not in a position to give them orders. But they also should be interested in working towards the team goal of solving the case. And that includes cooperation if Fresbeluski needs you to do something.
Get up on those rooftops today. See what these mopes are using for phones.
Makima comes out and tells them that's like gospel. Now you're fucking doing it. This is Omar's place. Avon's crew's thrashing. But you remember when Avon robbed the stash and he was selling heroin in the neighborhood and he gave out a free hit to that girl because she didn't have her check yet? He's got a community there. So now he's hid out at her place up the block watching them tear his apartment apart. Stinkum looks like he's got a toilet seat cover around his neck.
You want hands on this?
Yeah, darling, I'm cool.
Her kid is right there sitting on Omar's lap and she's shooting up heroin. It's a fucking hard knock life. Sometimes I think I'm a bad parent, and then you see shit like this.
Nice shirt. Man, thank you.
Makes guts wearing a pink shirt in the BPD.
It's salmon-colored, motherfucker.
Yes, it does.
Anybody's gonna talk shit to Bunk, you're gonna have a problem on your hands.
What are you chasing?
Over the camera.
Chasing tail. What's new?
It was listed to some woman with a county address, but Saturday, my man Stringer Bell was using it.
You were working the weekend?
Went down to Northeast
See, Stringer doesn't own the car. Somebody else owns the car, and he just uses it whenever he wants. Because he probably bought it for her and put it in her name so that it's not traceable back to him. Common move for people earning money by nefarious means.
Your kids know front and follow. They
So they don't even bother to acknowledge the part where Jimmy finds his children. We just skip that. He's now looking up the plate that they found of the car he was driving, which is obvious because I was just talking about ownership of the vehicle. I'm skipping all over the place. My mind's like a ping pong ball. Wallace is all strung out on heroin. He's not engaged with these younger kids the way he was before. His patience level is dropping, and he's not taking care of himself either. He's also not out earning a living. He's not grinding anymore. He's spending money on drugs. This is an important scene for showing that his lack of patience and how he's kind of sliding downhill. But it's also an important message because he is trying to help her with her homework. And he asks her, he puts it to her in a story problem based off the drug racket. You know, if you have this many and you sell this many, somebody gives you that many, how many do you have? And she gets it dead right. And he's like, how come you can get that right, but you can't figure out the fucking math problem? And she says, because if the count isn't right, they'll whoop your ass. So basically what she indicates to him is the fear of having your ass whooped is a better motivation to get things right. Which is kind of fucked up, but also true. Fear is a great motivator. See, Wallace doesn't even have any money. He's borrowing it from Poot. See, here's this thing.
20 tall pinks. 2 fiends come out to you and ask for 2 each. Another one cops 3. Then Bodie hands you off 10 more. But some white guy rolls up in the car, waves you down and pays for 8. How many vials you got left?
15.
How the fuck you able to keep the count right? You're not able to do the book problem then.
Count me wrong, then fuck you up.
And he's like, damn, you're right. But she is. But also, he's got a point. Like, so you're able to concentrate and figure it out when your ass is on the line. Why can't you tap into that part of your brain when you're not worried about getting your ass whooped? Why can't you just use that all the time?
That was ring a bell?
Well, I called him down to top 8 phone number 1 after taking the page 15 minutes ago.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Enforcer in the 221 building. Okay, so he's rolling out of the 221 in about a half an hour or so with 20 whatevers to hand off to someone named Day.
Oh, this is an important scene too. So Day is Donnell Rawlings that Cedric met at that fundraiser before. And he was talking about cracking cribs. They think that they're about to get drugs coming in or out. But they're actually going to intercept money that's going to political donations. And it puts them onto a stream of this case that they were totally unaware of. They didn't realize the money was going in that direction. They're kind of getting shelter from political donations.
But he ain't about nothing else. He up in his room and shit all the damn day. Alright, tell Wallace to come see me, alright?
Just throwing an orange peel on the ground. It is fucking projects. It's trash all over the place. He's just taking a bunch of pictures of drug fiends and drug dealers. Not even any dealers, he's just taking pictures of fiends.
It's been too long. What if little man ain't working in the 221 today? What if this day guy don't come?
Herc sucks right now at this point in the series.
What if he came already and we just missed the pickup? Yo, Herc, what if your mother and father never met?
It's like that, huh? Damn, look at that early 2000s attire. I love that he's gonna put Poot in charge, and Poot gets so proud of himself. can't fucking believe it. He gets a fucking chip on his shoulder, starts strutting around. Look at me. See, this fucking Lincoln pulling up has got day in it. There goes little man. Bag of money. This is where, like, the upscale, prim and proper world of government and the down and dirty world of heroin sales and the projects overlap. It's a merging of two worlds that you don't really expect. Because most shows are too surface level to get in this deep and show you that this is how it goes. With the realism that this shows it. Stinkum still got a toilet seat cover on his fucking neck. Some poop butt locals. They got all excited about going out to lunch, and this is where they came. Looks like a little hole in the wall fucking sandwich shop. D'Angelo just put them hip to Orlando's little scheme about getting some of his own coke and having D sell it at the pit. And so that information is going to get back to Avon now. Loose lips sink ships. And Orlando done fucked up. So tonight they're going to have a party with all the girls from Orlando's over at Little Man's. He was talking shit about all that hot stuff and how you don't... Trick is to not give a fuck. And now he's bitching up. Look at how big their shirts are. Oh my god. See, they don't expect a suit and tie motherfucker to be getting out of here. He's a driver for a political aid or something like that. I can't remember. But that's why he was at the fundraiser. He was driving somebody to the political fundraiser.
Come on now, look, enough of this shit now. Come on.
Is there something beneath that seat?
No. You don't mind if we take a look, right?
There's some interesting like legalese stuff going on here where he doesn't acknowledge there's anything in there and doesn't admit to ownership. It's just straight up cash, 20 grand.
How about if I make it like this, huh?
And this is funny also because he's going to be brought back to the detail and he's going to have to meet with Daniels, who heard his whole story about cracking cribs and fencing stuff up in New York. So he's not going to buy any of this goody two-shoes bullshit off him. He knows what he's about. Jimmy's staked out right now waiting for Stringer to pull up in the car. And apparently, no dice. No car today.
You rang? Who's he?
Damien Lavelle Price.
You brought him back to the station? I guess he's under arrest. You can't bring him back to the detail straight up. He's got to go back there.
We followed him up Reservoir Hill till we knew we were on him.
That's where people in custody go.
He's in your office.
Ooh, Jerry Rice.
$20,000 in cash.
What kind of PC?
Right off the wire.
My name's Cedric. People call me Lieutenant.
We thought we were gonna come up with drugs. Got money instead.
I know this guy.
Oh, you and shit now.
Orioles won last night. Lopez stood up the boss.
See him get uncomfortable in his chair.
I'd like to speak to my attorney.
Never heard Donnell Rawlings sound so white. I like to speak to my attorney.
He was driving for one of the politicians at this fundraiser I got dragged to.
Which one?
Someone from Annapolis, from the looks of his ID.
Lieutenant, what do we charge here?
You see the money sees?
Did I say shit?
Yeah, see, he didn't acknowledge that the money was there. He didn't say he owned it. He didn't say shit about the money.
But they're gonna ask me where I got it.
So there's no charge there. So basically, he's just got to give up the money. And if he wants it back, he's got to explain how he got it.
To read our ID. Lieutenant, a word.
This guy. Orlando, it's time to get your ass whooping, boy. You played yourself, that's what's up.
Me? Yeah, you. Everything is good?
I'm alright. Fixed for cash, something, man.
Because if you need money, the thing to do would be to ask.
You need a little something. Really, the thing to do is just to ask for it.
I mean, that's all I do anyway. Put money in your fucking pocket and make sure you're straight away from the nest. Sit down. Especially that.
He doesn't understand that he is a linchpin in this criminal organization. And he's got to be squeaky clean in order to be in that spot. He can't go running all over the map. They make him look like a bitch in front of all those girls, though. No wonder he gets no respect. She's got real tits. They push together.
I checked with the state personnel department. They got him on the payroll of Senator Davis's district office for more than a year.
Ooh, he's on the payroll of Clay Davis. Shit.
And now
I can't do that as well as I wish.
20 grand in manicured banded money.
You brought him in here. On what charge?
Civil forfeiture. Until he tells us
That's a nice suit jacket there, Daniels.
So you have no criminal charge.
No. Just a minute.
See, this is where it gets weird. Because you can see that he's worried about if they bust this dude, they're going to get in hot water politically.
Back his money.
And that's a concern to them.
The wire.
They can't just straight up do their job. They got to worry about pissing somebody off that has clout.
Give him back his money.
Give him back his money.
As an unwarranted
20 grand of drug money.
Now, I ask you to put a charge on the drug dealer, Lieutenant. That's all I ask. But now I got wiretaps, pager clones, affidavits coming.
Yeah, and now you're being a cocksucker.
You're in
Why don't you plug into the big brown machine, drop a load?
Shutting this down, Lieutenant.
Big brown machine's his wife.
And you do it by the end of the week.
I know he's not the UPS commercial guy, but
You went into his pocket,
pretty
pulled
close.
out $20,000. And though there's no criminal charge, you think it wise to try to keep it. You sit all over yourself. All over me.
You shit all over yourself?
This department. Now, I told you, no surprises. Remember?
Everybody's trying to cover their ass for somebody else. You just can't do your job straight up.
Sign here. Or you can count it yourself if you want.
I can leave now.
This would feel weird. This would feel like they ain't gonna let you, like, this feels like a trick. I would run out of that building and be like, they're gonna change their mind, I gotta go.
Will somebody please tell me what the fuck that was about?
And now they look like they have no power.
We just gave back 20 large of Barksdale's money.
McNulty's beside himself.
Hey! What the fuck?
How's he got onto this so quick? I told him. You told him? Why would you be fucking telling him?
Why would you be fucking telling him?
Jacked up an aide to a state senator. How do I not tell him?
Yeah, Lieutenant, have you noticed there hasn't been a complaint so far from the senator? And you know why? Because what the fuck is his driver doing coming out of the high rises carrying that kind of money?
That's what I told the deputy.
Yeah, and what did he say? We should mind our own business? Fucking give the man back his money and go the fuck away?
Yeah, this is where the show gets so good because everything's influenced by everything else.
Shit all over him. Like how
You've got money from the drug dealers going to the politicians, and the cops are worried about busting it because they don't want to upset the politicians and affect their ability to do their job.
you think it's gonna say you? Chain of command detective. That's all I got from the deputy today.
Chain of command? What, do you tell me, Major?
And the way this show makes it seem, at least, the higher positions in the police force are more based off of politicking than they are off of merit. I'm not saying that translates to real life, but that's what they make it seem like. And I know that they had consultants that were former police officers in Baltimore, so I imagine that they had some idea what they were talking about. And this show is so based on realism. So this is Little Man's party. D's just arriving. And they're going to send him out for booze as soon as he gets there. I fucked her sadly. And Avon has rules, but they're not supposed to party, they're not supposed to get high, all that. But they're taking a night off from all those rules. Sniffing blow, smoking weed, drinking beers, and more. And getting these girls fucked up and taking advantage of them, which I don't condone. And wouldn't really... I don't want to fuck anybody who's not interested in fucking me. And somebody who's passed out and can't react in any way, shape, or form, I'm definitely not interested in. That just feels like you're fucking a dead body almost. Like, I know they're not dead, they're not cold, they're warm, but I need some reaction and some reciprocation. Like what Weebay's about to do with this girl. She said, I'm about to throw up, and he's just gonna shove her in here on the bed. Like, look, she's just passed out. How could you... How was that fun? These are some heartless bastards, though, right? And Cedric's just contemplating what his place in the world is. Like, what am I doing? I can't make anybody happy. I can't win for trying.
There were other things I crossed.
He said this to you?
In so many words.
You need to explain.
And also, Burrell has the file on him from the internal investigation into his assets that happened a few years ago.
2 days from now, city council maybe. He asked for a charge on Barksdale. That's all he asked for.
And
This thing with the legislative.
if he keeps going with this case, he's just going to uncover more of this shit. They're just at the tip of the iceberg. Excuse me.
Drugs, you get a drug case. You start following the money, you don't know where you're going.
Yes, yes.
Wiretaps, wiretaps.
That was
Can't control.
the new curveball we get thrown.
They don't know.
So far, we've just been following drugs. And like he said, you follow drugs, you get drug addicts and drug dealers. You follow money, it goes all over the fucking place.
What'd you say?
Because you've got Avon is trying to launder his money. He's got to have fronts and clean channels to get it back into legitimate accounts so that he can spend it and not get audited, etc. And then I just lost my train of thought because they sent D out for booze, and by the time he gets back, the party's fucked out. Everybody's done.
Where the girls go?
The Knicks fucked up. They draft again.
Drunk down, fucked up. Yo, y'all send me out for liquor, and by the time I get back, the shit is dead.
It's the way it goes, fun. Way it goes. And now this chick that Weebay fucked is dead. She overdosed on the drugs at the party. I think it was coke, but I don't know exactly what they were doing. It was white powder of some kind. She's cold bagged, toe tagged. He'd be able to tell as soon as he touched her cheek, she'd be cold. She wouldn't. Body temperature drops quick. Weebay's reaction, he's just like the dog shit on the carpet. What's the matter, Jimmy? We're not friends anymore?
I got copied this morning.
Just what it looks like. Memo signed by the deputy officer Rawls before us telling us to pack it in and come home.
We're supposed to come down the wire by Friday. Shipment could be exactly.
So, the deputy has ordered them to take the wire down and end the case preemptively, regardless of the fact that they haven't got a charge on Avon yet. And they had to basically send the judge notification, and he's pulled Jimmy and Kima in to ask them what the fuck is going on. And I believe that he's going to call and raise a stink with the deputy because the wiretap is set for a certain amount of time. So he's entitled to that time, regardless of what the deputy wants. Burrell, that's who I keep forgetting his name. I know there's Rawls, and then Burrell is the deputy.
What did Circuit Court of Armor do?
You gave us the wire.
For how long, Detective McNulty?
60 days now.
And how
60
long
days,
was
not 30.
suspensions? 20 days, maybe?
Deputy Burrell is on the line.
So they got another 3 weeks on that 60-day mandate.
It's fatal. Kiddo, you're fucking with me here. Yes, you are. Listen to me. The Circuit
I'm looking at a notice here that tells me I can't have my 60.
days of telephonic surveillance. Now, I'm looking at a copy of a memo from your office telling me I can't have my 60. You're not hearing me.
60 days, 50 ways,
On this tab. The court wants it.
40
Now, you take this
saves.
wire down on Friday.
I don't know.
You'll be in contempt of court on Monday. Understood?
Ooh, he's gonna hold the deputy in contempt of court. See, it's weird. Who has authority over who and in what situations? You'd think nobody has authority over the deputy in that way unless he commits a crime. But this judge is gonna hold him in contempt of court. But I think in turn, the deputy has his political connections lean on the judge and put his chair at risk, and that has him pull back on the investigation. It's all very complex.
He called his own shot. Well, that's correct, you don't believe me.
Because of Jimmy's history with Run Tell That, Cedric thinks that he's the one who went and talked to the judge or the one who put the judge on the case and made him call Burrell, when in fact the judge did it on his own accord. Pardon me. He finally scoped out Stringer taking the car, and he gets to follow him. I think he follows him to like community college. McNulty or the judge?
You call mad as the devil. Tell him to quit packing. We're back up on the wire. McNulty or the judge? Or both?
This time the judge.
See, this time, the judge. McNulty's in the clear. He didn't do anything wrong. But he's like the little boy who cried wolf. Unfortunately, this situation's come up so many times with him involved, they just assume that it's him. And when you assume, you make an ass out of Jimmy.
According to Q1, whoa, hold on, help me out here. You know my
You have to know him by the numbers? Herc is such an ignorant ass. I love the character because it fits so well with the series, but sometimes he's so ass ugly and dumb fuck.
Your squad complains that her side partner has sexually harassed her. You should A, notify the commanding officer, B, notify the ship
I'll take little Susie home and fuck her till she smiles.
notify the ranking female officer. I go with D.
He just doesn't take his job seriously at all as like a member of law enforcement in the community. He's just a dickhead with a badge.
Fuck her till she smiles.
And Carver's now kind of getting it. Carver's kind of outgrowing him. Carver's starting to take this seriously. And Herc's not coming along for the ride. That happens in life. You outgrow your friends sometimes. It's not worth retarding your own progress to stay with them. It's just not. So Jimmy did follow Stringer to a community college, and he's taking like an accounting class or an economics class, something like that. Got this weird warm sensation inside my ear just now. I don't know what the fuck that was. Inside of my eardrum feels hot. You guys might be listening to me die as we speak, as I speak, as you listen. Then again, if I do meet my end right now, nobody's gonna know how to put this up online. It's gonna go out into the ether. I don't know if anybody will ever listen to it, but shit happens sometimes. Just got it by doing what you told me to do, which was run. I think Herc ends up doing better on this test than Carver does, though, which is a curveball again, because it doesn't seem like Herc took it seriously at all.
My pencil lost its point. Well, then you don't say so.
It's a unique twist on it. That's what she said joke. But he said my pencil lost its point. It wasn't a phrase that's easily made fun of.
Man, fuck 'em. That'll wait.
Stringer is a very interesting and deep character because he's trying to go legit. He wants this copy shop. They do print, copy, all that shit, mailing services. He wants this shit to run like a legit business. He wants to be on the straight and narrow. He wants to get over to that side of things. And he's got these little gang members inside working for him, and they're not taking the shit seriously because they're used to the hood, the drug trade, where you can treat the customers like shit, and they gotta come back. They don't have a choice. And he's using economics terms, inelastic markets and shit like that to explain it to them. They don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Him there and that other fool there. They the only ones might be trouble.
So I'm gonna drop Scar. You just drop the other motherfuckers.
This is Stinkum and Weebay scoping out Stinkum's new territory that he's supposed to take over, and that's where he's going to start getting points.
I wish Bird was here, man.
But Omar is on their ass, and they don't know it.
You need to drop that shit down the storm drain. Now give me some time to go around the block and set up on the other side. Alright?
He watched them torch his van and destroy his apartment, and he got their information. I don't know how. He followed them, something. But this isn't going to end the way they think it is. See, Weebay's sneaking around the block. And Stinkum's supposed to come up from this side, but Omar's about to come up from behind, or the side of him, and surprise him. Right here. Swoop! Payback's a motherfucker. Again, Omar, the strategy. He's a smart motherfucker. And he wings Weebay there. Lesson here, Bay. And he starts whistling so cold.
Hey, yo, lesson here, baby.
Come at the king, best to not miss. That's where the quote is from the beginning. And that's true to life, too. There's times where you got one shot. And if you fuck it up, that's it. Game over. It's kind of like what they were talking about earlier in the season, where they said anybody who comes at Omar is going to know Omar's coming at them. Omar knows that he's coming at them. And he's one, and they're many. And it's easier to keep track of them. They're kind of attached to certain locations and certain tasks. He can just hide out and get the jump on them. And he's also aware that if he goes at Avon, he cannot miss. Now they're listening to The Wire, and they're hearing chatter that Omar killed Stinkum and shot Weebay. And that fucks them up because they had Stinkum on the charge for driving the truck when they made the bust of the re-up. So now they just lost that arrest because Stinkum's out. And Omar is supposed to be assisting them and thus can't be involved in any mischievous behavior like that draws his character into question. He can't get arrested for murder when he's supposed to be a witness. So be on it. That's something you can take with you too. When you've got something that needs to be done, you don't have anything in your life, you don't have anything to do except get that done. So get it done. Like, it's hard to think of an example, but there's times where there's just one thing that is the most important thing that you need to get done in your life right now. So when you have a situation like that, treat it like it's the only thing and fucking do it. You got money troubles and you're on your grind, trying to get out of debt, trying to do everything you can 24 hours a day to make money. Just do it. Cast as many lines into that ocean of opportunity as you can. Something's gonna bite. Something's gonna bite. Jimmy leaves his card inside the windshield of the burnt-ass van. Knowing that Omar will get word somehow.
What you want me to say?
Fish gotta swim.
Hey, look at him, man. I don't know nothing about Stan getting dropped, and I don't know nothing
What
about
is that
Stan
shirt?
getting either. I mean, I don't know nothing about none of this crazy nonsense.
Well, I don't know. It came back to us quick.
Well, you know how that be. Everybody want to believe the worst about Omar.
I wonder how he got that scar. I need to look that up. I'm sure the story's online. That's a fucking scar, boy.
If I was gonna come after certain people,
His whole face was cut in half.
all five people that he caused for concern.
Long ways.
Some rules here, right?
Hot dog style.
Yeah.
It's like a $1.50, but in the middle of your face. It's like a 320
In the mix,
from forehead to jawbone.
so you hit the right nigga.
And lose a gun out there, would that be a rule too, I think?
One thing, Omar. Having Stinkum drop kind of fucks us on our thing.
What's up?
They're also in this weird situation where they know it's him. He knows that they know it's him. But he's too good to leave any proof, and they know they don't have any proof.
We're all grateful for the case you gave us on Bird.
And now he's going to see the Orlando's thing up on the wall, and he knows that he can scope out Orlando's. They're giving him information
Don't look to me, right?
without even realizing it.
I got a bounty on my head. Yeah, we saw the man. Look, man, I do what I can do to help y'all. But the game is out there. And it's either play or get played.
Indeed. they can't argue with him because his logic is sound, but it goes against everything that they know as police officers to be right.
Lester, are we still cops?
Technically, I suppose so.
Okay, I was just checking.
How was she when you left?
Oh.
I told you that.
So now D'Angelo's girl knows that her friend from the club was at that party that he was also at, and she didn't show up for work. She come up missing because she's dead. And he's got to try to play it off like she doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
My uncle may not be right for me, I'm thinking.
Why you say that?
And he's realizing that the drug game may not be for him. But
I like my job.
I am almost positive that if he stopped doing it and tried to get a legit gig and live that life, struggling, that he wouldn't dig that either and he'd go back.
Come each other up.
It's too familiar and too easy to get back into.
Shooting folks cause
I don't think he's willing to break his back.
behind it.
He's got a good heart, but I don't think he's got the grit for a real job.
You want me?
Do something else.
You happy with your job?
What, is he supposed to quit and go to college?
Do something else.
I am. I'm gonna have to.
Get some clothes that fit. I mean, her clothes fit. Her clothes fit nice, but look at how big his fucking clothes are. so big.
It's not forever.
I was a part of that fashion too. I wore clothes that were huge back then. I just don't understand why that's what we did. How we thought that was the cool thing. Gigantic clothes.
That'll be pretty.
Look at them titties. I don't know if I could pull that off. My hands probably taste like shit. I wouldn't want to suck on my finger. I wouldn't expect her to. Uh-oh. But so, he just heard on the answering machine. Oh, then the answering machine. He just heard on the answering machine that Stinkum's dead.
With an assist from Dunnigan.
And that's only going to help him come to the realization he doesn't want to do this anymore.
Omar was the shooter. Fuck me. It's all over the wiretap. Okay, let's see. We put down one murder on the test.
Jimmy and Bonk have to decide now how to swerve Cole
Boyfriend Brandon.
and not...
Anton Artis' Stinkum was one of the boys.
Basically, they're going to lie to him. They're going to tell him that they know who committed the murder he's investigating, but it's going to fuck up the wiretap case. So
Talking to wire.
they're going to wait till the wiretap case is over and then give him his closure on the other case, which they're not actually going to
You
do.
want me to go and bullshit Cole out of his case for you, huh? Why don't you go and tell him yourself? You kidding?
All to protect Omar. It's this weird fucking
Cheese grater.
moral gray area where they're basically
Fuck you, Jimmy.
they're trying to help Omar get away with a crime.
How's it going with it?
Pretty good. Like this kid is fucking my victim's girlfriend. So Ray, can I talk to
This
you
kid
for a
who's
minute?
fucking my victim's girlfriend. Somebody was fucking Stinkum's girlfriend.
In my office.
Stinkum had a girlfriend? I bet he did. He's got money.
Cases like
That's an unusual looking bartender. Just wearing a white t-shirt.
Cole's doing good this year. He don't need the clearance. Well, I know he's kind of fucks it. But you should have seen that motherfucker's face when I
It'd be hard to keep that white t-shirt clean, making all those drinks for people, splashing shit.
happy
Salt and dirty ass bar. Oh shit, this is the episode where Bunk cheats on his wife. Yes! Yes! I love this fucking episode. Oh man. This shit gets so good. Bunk's gonna call a play. They have numbers for when they're gonna vouch for each other with their wives. Here he comes. He's gonna ask Jimmy to do it for him. Oh, they don't use a number. He just tells him. Motherfucker, I vouch for you. Turnabout is fair play, Jimmy. It's not your ball game.
You got a minute?
Jimmy and Bunk's relationship reminds me a lot of a buddy of mine and me.
I'm interviewing Omar. A few weeks back.
Kima's now realized that she accidentally led Omar to the witness angle. That she basically told him that that's what they were missing, and then he volunteered.
Yes, I told him that we needed an outlaw witness.
At which point he volunteers.
Yep.
Well, maybe he saw it.
Or maybe he put himself in it just to see Bird locked up. I don't got the impression there wasn't much love between them. I fucked up, didn't I?
Well, a little.
Yeah, you fucked up, but he was right.
And he's consistent with our witness on
So-
the scenario. So don't sweat it.
It's gonna play the same.
Kima.
The right guy is getting convicted either way.
Interrogation is more art than science. You gotta feel your way through an instinct mostly.
What kind of file you got here, motherfucker? Freeman just looks like somebody's dad.
Dancers
So he's just-
work at Barksdale's club. I pulled a name off the liquor board complaints and state employment.
They're gonna pick which dancer that works at the club they want to try to go at and
I'm
turn.
gonna try to turn one of these girls
And
into a would-be.
they pick D'Angelo's girlfriend, of course, because we've already got her worked into the story, and we know about her character. They're not gonna bring somebody new into the mix. She was born in 1969.
Why else?
She's as old as my parents.
You always say. I like a fix.
Soul, conscience, whatever you want to call it.
Of course, this show is almost 20 years old.
Just in the eyes.
So back then, my parents were much younger.
Yeah.
You happy now, bitch?
Who is this?
What is this phone call? I don't remember this.
Well, I don't know if you get my number.
Jim Beam coffee mug?
Yeah, okay.
Is he getting called to pick somebody up from jail? What is going on? I don't. Oh, this is Bunk. Duh.
Get this crazy bastard out of here. He's out for smoking on.
So Bunk got post-nut syndrome. That post-nut regret. He let himself get away with feeling something, and he rode that feeling all the way to this bitch's house and inside of her. And after he got done fucking her and he came, he realized this is not something he wanted to do, and he started getting paranoid as a motherfucker. And he came in the bathroom, he's shit-faced, and he's burning his clothes to get rid of the evidence. Fibers and pussy. Oh my god. It's so rational but irrational all at the same time. Ma'am, you seen his shoes? Oh, fuck me. Oh my god. Whew. Now Omar's staking out the Gentleman's Club. Orlando's leaving, locking up. You'll lock that door? Just patiently waiting, smoking a cigarette, being cool.
Oh, shit.
These are the IKEA bunk beds that Jimmy bought for his sons. So now Bunk has got to spend the night at his place.
Maybe the burning trace evidence makes sense. What the fuck did you plan to wear home?
Oh, see, that's how it was rational that there was probably evidence and probably smell and all kinds of shit on his clothes. But burning them, he would have had to go home naked. Like, how you going to explain that? You've now created a whole nother situation that's even harder to explain. Honestly, I don't know what how's he going to get clothes for him at all? What's he going to wear tomorrow? At some point, he's got to get home and get clothes. And that's the end of the episode. I was talking over it, but Bonk tells Jimmy he's no good for people. And that's kind of Jimmy's story arc. Is Jimmy is constantly trying to validate his existence through other people. He's constantly looking for the recognition that he's good, that he serves a purpose, that they appreciate him, to serve his own ego, though. So I think that cut a little bit deep when Bunk said that, because Jimmy kind of feels that way about it. Like, that's his worst fear, is that nobody likes him. His ego couldn't take that, or that he's bad for people. And later down the line, he kind of turns into a more concrete guy, at least for part of it. But yeah, that is the episode of episode 8, season 1 of The Wire. I appreciate the fuck out of you guys for listening to the commentary podcast. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good shit. You know the story. Until the next time, this is Devin signing off and saying, be easy.